Hi, I'm Lisa Rangel with Chameleon Resumes, the premier executive resume writing company, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about the misnomer of the resume update or the resume refresh. Those terms can be used interchangeably, and I want to talk about that today because obviously with times being as tumultuous as they are now, many are looking to update or refresh their resume, which is a very prudent thing to do, but there is a common misconception of what truly is a resume update or a resume refresh and what really needs to be a new resume. And I'm going to give you some pointers that should guide you of whether you should do a fully new document or if you really truly have an update on your hands. So let's talk about it. So the first thing that you should consider is, are you targeting a new higher level role? So if you're targeting a new higher level role, you need to redo your resume because the resume you have got you to where you are today. And so you need to change your summary to now show how you are properly positioned and qualified and have the achievements of the next role you want to target. And you got to highlight that in your summary. So you need to redo your summary. You need to obviously create space and create the content for the current role that you're in now. And then all of your existing content needs to be culled and repositioned for that new role. So you want to make sure that you are showing throughout your career how you've been building towards this new executive level role that you are now going to target. So you need to reframe a lot of the existing content to now show how you are positioned and have been groomed for this top level role, and now you're going for it. So it all needs to be repositioned. And think about it this way. If you were going for your MBA, you wouldn't use your college, your bachelor's college application essay, right? You're going to redo and make sure you have totally up-leveled that MBA application. Well, the same thing goes for your resume. If you're going for a senior level or an executive level role, the resume that you used for the last 5-10 years needs to be repositioned and redone for that top level role. So that's number one of whether you should consider a new document or a refresh document. The second is, if you've been doing a resume the wrong way the entire time, updating something that isn't properly done in the first place isn't going to get you very far. And it may have worked in economic cycles where, candidates were in demand, but when we're currently in a cycle where there are more candidates applying to jobs than the actual job itself, you hear of recruiters talking about there's hundreds, if not a couple thousand people applying for a particular role. You really need to make sure that your resume is done in a contemporary way. And here's an example. If you have a resume that has been done in a very task-driven way, it's for the entire time that you've worked, where you have a list, basically it looks like a job description with your name on top of it, you're going to want to redo that. And you're going to want to shift the language to showcase the recent relevant achievements that depict how well you do your job. When you are competing against other candidates who do what you do, you want to outline how the achievements you have show that you are the best person for the job. That's how you differentiate yourself. If everyone is going for the same job and has done similar positions, listing the tasks doesn't differentiate any of the candidates. You need to outline how well you do your job to show how you are better than the other candidates. And the way you do that is a current tactic for the last few years is to outline the achievements that you have that are pertinent to the job that you're targeting. So make sure that, if you're quote doing an update, make sure that you've been doing the resume properly all along. But if you haven't been doing it properly all along, you might really need a new document. The third consideration for whether you need a new resume or a resume update is that it's just simply dated. You simply have a dated document and it needs to be updated in terms of its layout, its language, fonts, all of it. And so, if you are out of school, say maybe 10, 15 years or even longer, because I've seen this with even people longer out of school, and you're still starting your resume with your school, then you really haven't brought your resume, up with the times. You're still using a resume that is typically popular when you are graduating college, or a graduate program. And if you are at least 5, 6, 7 years outside of that graduation period, some may even say sooner, you really need to lead with your current employer. Your summary, if you're still using the word summary, that's a dated practice. You now need to make sure that you have the title that you're targeting at the top of the resume. If you have your physical address on your resume, that's a dated practice. You want to remove the street address, just maybe have the city and state at the most, and just have your phone number, your email address, and your LinkedIn profile URL. It's really all that matters. So these are just some ways that you can show how you are currently using an updated format versus a dated format. So you want to make sure that you are not updating a dated format. That's not going to help anybody. And then the fourth reason for considering a new resume versus a resume update is you just simply haven't done it in 5 years or more. You are now a different person. I know I'm a different person than I was 5 years ago. I have different interests, different targets, different achievements I want to highlight, achievements I don't want to highlight anymore. I mean, Lord knows, for those of us who've been working for more than 20 years, there are things that we are amazing at that are listed in our resume that we may never want to do again. Right? So you have to downplay or remove some of that information, or you're going to keep getting calls for it, even though you don't want to do it anymore. So, it's like going to the doctor, right? You go to the doctor every year. They do a complete workup. They may look at the history to just obviously understand the history, but they're going to do a full workup every time, every year, or every time you go, right? And so it's the same kind of thing. If you haven't done this in a while, a workup is really important to look at everything to see what really should be showcased now, what needs to be downplayed now, and what needs to be removed now. Because everybody's goals change. You have history to add, you have history to take away, and you have history to downplay. So just updating something without doing that full workup really does you a disservice. So these are just some of the considerations you should factor in when you are looking to get your resume updated. And frankly, most likely, if it's any of these 4 scenarios or more, you really need a new document. Now, does that mean somebody can't update their resume? Of course not. If you are not going for a new role, if you're kind of just looking for keeping it updated, but you're not looking for a job, you're not really going for the next thing actively, then just simply updating it, your summary will stay the same. You're just going to call some information from the prior experience to make room for that current entry. That's totally fine, but that's just a maintenance issue. If you are truly going for a new role, if you are trying to up level, if you are trying to put forth a more contemporary impression, and or you haven't done it for a while, these are some of the reasons why you really need to not do an update and look at a new document so you can put your best foot forward. If this is something that resonates with you, DM me. And or you can go to chameleonresumes.com/contact us and schedule a chat with us, and we can explore whether you need an update or whether you should have it done properly right from the start. And just let me know. Let me know your questions. Let me know if I missed anything. I know there might be some resume writers who might think that I might miss some items that can warrant one way or the other. And I'd love to see your feedback down below in the comments or DM me privately. And if you like this video, I'm going to ask you to like it. If you know someone who is considering updating or doing a new document, I'm going to ask you to share it with them so they can make the proper decision for themselves. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss next week's video. And of course, you can DM me, you can email me at lr@chameleonresumes.com. I read and reply to, or do my best to read and reply to every comment, every DM, every email. However you get me, I always try to reply. So look forward to hearing from you and getting your feedback, and make it a great day.